All right, we're rolling. This is Bill Hoy. I'm on my putting these videos on my YouTube channel here, and the video is the Alopathic Chronic Care System killed my father. And this is part two to the segment. I was left off talking about just the feeling of coldness and lack of soul and spirit in not just the oncologist that my mother dragged me in to talk to, but even at the hospital, a lot of those, individuals there just very, very sad, just very, very sad, very, very disconnected. And I'm going to talk about this, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, here we go. We'll start here. The allopathic chronic care system values profit over people. We're talking about, profit over people. This really, the whole healthcare system really is that how it's designed. But the chronic care system is really, really nefarious. Of course, you got the whole vaccinations and all that stuff, which can get pretty ugly. But you got, it's profit over people. It's profit over people. And tell me more about that. All right. Profit over people. And you know what? I gotta say it again. I'm not over what happened to my father. I'm not over it all. I'm not, I'm not ready to go on, vacations and live my life live a life of leisure. I don't live like that anyway. But I can't let this go. I can't let this go. And I don't want to hear all this, oh, he would have wanted you to do that. I don't want to hear that stuff, man. We're not talking about, a man who was sick for a while and he was on his couch and, any day now, one of these months could be his last day, and, and he had time to talk to us and spend time with him, and this isn't like that. This man was killed. I have to say my father was murdered. I have to say my father was murdered. My father was murdered. I said it. And I'm furious, and I'm really trying to contain myself in this video. I'm really trying to contain myself in this video. So I'm kind of jumping around here. This allopathic chronic care system, valuing profit over people, the allopathic chronic care system, it looks at people as like they're just machines to be fixed and replaced. Like, these surgeons looked at my dad like he was like I would look at my lawnmower. If my lawnmower wasn't working properly, I'll clean it, I'll pull some parts out of it, clean it. I might take the blade off and sharpen it, or maybe I replace a part, or a part that I really don't need, I just take off and discard. And we're talking about a human being here, folks. A human being with a spirit. My father had, all of us, but my father had a spirit and a soul. Not even looking into, hey, Bill, my father's name was the same as mine, Bill Hoy. Hey, Bill, what's your lifestyle like? Do you undergo a lot of stress? Are you consuming alcoholic beverages a lot? What's your diet? What's your lifestyle? None of that. None of that. Oh, we'll just cut it out and everything will be fine. Cutting out somebody's liver, man? You kidding me? My dad just ran in there. I remember about 6 years ago, my father had, I thought I wrote this down. I think I did. Alright, I'm just gonna roll. I'm sure I'll find it. 6 years ago, my father had a large part of his colon removed. He had colon cancer. My father's been in bad health for a long time. Been in bad health for a long time. His diet's terrible. He drinks, far too much alcohol, for a man his age, and just all the stress he puts on his body, and he doesn't even balance himself with a good diet or anything. His diet's atrocious. But prior to going to the hospital for his operation, my father, had, a moment where he wasn't responsive, and very well responsive, and he had to be taken to the hospital, and that's where they checked him out, and then he went to the doctor, and they said that, things were wrong with his liver. And once again, all that I'm not really completely sure of. But, I really regret that I didn't at least, offer, my father, the opportunity to, try like a treatment plan where him and I go out to like Washington State or Colorado, and we do cannabis oil treatment, and, we eat a healthy diet, as healthy as we can. And of course, it wouldn't be a situation where, he's eating rice cakes and I'm eating pepperoni pizza. I don't eat pepperoni pizza anyway. Anyway. But whatever my father ate, I would eat. His diet would be my diet. But here's why I didn't. The last 2 years of my father's life, him and I didn't really talk much. In fact, the last year of his life, we almost never talked. I think we talked like maybe 3 times. We only lived 40 minutes away from each other. And of course, in today's technology, I could talk to somebody from China. I'm from New Jersey in the United States. I could talk to somebody from China as if they were right in the room with me. But I didn't talk to my father much in the last 2 years, and reason why was I presented him information about climate engineering and Fukushima and what's going on in this world, and he didn't even want to investigate into it. Didn't want anything to do with it. Didn't even want to look into it. He took one little look into it and he ran for the hills, and he never wanted to look into it at all. Didn't want to look into it. And stuff I was presenting to him was stuff that you could look up in your local library. I mean, this wasn't wild-eyed stuff. And I was offering him stuff with evidence. And once again, I don't think I've said it yet in any of my videos. Anything I say on this, please investigate into it for yourself. I really want you to investigate. I'm not saying investigate it, to prove myself right. I'm saying investigate it because I want you to investigate this information, come to your own conclusion, and then see what you need to do as far as trying to get the word out and wake people up about this stuff. So please investigate. But he didn't want to investigate. He did one little preliminary investigation and he ran for the hills. And and I'm not into any of the. I really oppose all. I oppose all religions, including. I am not a believer. I'm not a believer in any religions. I'm not a believer in the religion of authority and government. I'm not a believer in the religion of a monetary system as a true real-world value system. I don't want to get too much into the money system, but what I'm trying to point out is that many people look at me and they see that I'm not a believer in these cultural religions, and they think I'm an atheist. I'm not an atheist, folks. In fact, and this is where I'm going with this. What does this have to do with my father? Atheism killed my father. Okay, atheism killed my father. These atheist surgeons did not see my father as a human being with a spirit and soul. They saw him as a broken vessel of physical matter that needed to be fixed. They didn't see, these atheists believe in the primacy of matter, that we humans are just made up of blood and tissue and stuff like that, and sometimes we need to be repaired like a lawnmower, and no spirit, no soul, total atheist. And also these atheisms believe in the primacy of human rulership and the making of human rules and stuff like that. And atheism killed my father. Atheism killed my father. And atheism is a religion, folks. I don't know if I mentioned that. Atheism absolutely is a religion. It is a religion. And I had mentioned that my father had a colon cancer operation removing part of his colon 6 years earlier, and he nearly died from that procedure. I remember I went up with my son the next day after that procedure, and he was whiter than, he was whiter than a ghost, man. And his cut on he had this big cut on his stomach, and it was pussing and stuff. It was horrible, dude. And he's up walking around. I'm like, Dad, sit down. And I don't know where other close family members were. I guess they were busy living the good life, I guess. I don't know. And they just, I'm not defending them, but I'm saying that many people just really didn't realize how close to death he came from that procedure. I mean, he almost died from that procedure, folks. That procedure almost killed him, and he was really in bad shape. He was really in bad shape after that procedure. Now, folks, I also did mention that I didn't, I wish I would have mentioned, this stuff to my father and talked to him about, maybe a cannabis oil treatment or something like that. But I know he wouldn't listen to me. He would have said something stupid like, oh, I'm not a druggie or whatever. It's just unbelievable. Just unbelievable ignorance. And I still should have presented it to him anyway. A lot of this whole thing was surreal even for me, man. I mean, I was shocked at how this happened. 1 minute he's there, next minute he's gone. And I'm going to do a third video of this. You know what? Let's see. Maybe I can wrap this up here. Not an ounce of responsibility is placed on these surgeons, and this needs to change. These surgeons need to be responsible for this shit. The man is dead, dude. If I worked on somebody and they died, I wouldn't be able to function, man. I'd feel horrible. And then, of course, you got the Hippocratic Oath, which is the Hippocratic Oath, never do harm, and plenty of harm done in this situation. And then, really, these surgeons violate natural law. They're harming people, and they don't reap the consequences in the physical world. They're harming people, and if they don't reap the consequences in the physical world, we need to start making them reap the consequences in the physical world. But they will in the spirit world, and there's a special place waiting for these doctors, man. Special place in the spirit world waiting for these doctors. Just killing people, and oh well. I felt terrible. Oh really? Okay. But not okay. Not okay. Not okay at all. Dad, I wish you were here, and I miss you, and I'm not giving up on this. I'm not done, and I'm going to fight this. And I'm going to continue to try to spread the word about this, and nobody else cares, and nobody else cares, because I care. Dad, it's been 1 year, and I miss you. I feel terrible. I should have said something to you, but I got to cut out because I don't know if this video is going to get on. But that's it, folks. I'm going to have more videos on this. It's just the year anniversary here, so I decided to do this.